can't be right. Anna in the kitchen with the Frankenstein's monster candy bowl? Let's check this out.
On this channel, we talk about Halloween, Harry Potter, and theme parks. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to discuss murder mystery parties. So in a previous video, we actually brought them up, and we've had a lot of questions regarding them, so we just figured we'd cover them in more detail.
So if you've never thrown one of these parties before, the first place to start is to find a pre-made package on a website. We have used mymurdermysteryparty.com before. They do a really great job, but there are other websites that offer the same thing.
One of the reasons that we chose My Murder Mystery Party the first time was because we really liked one of the packages that they offered. Wasn't for any other reason. We haven't used any of the other ones, I don't think.
No.
But I'm sure that the packages are fairly similar.
One of the things I really like about this website is that they offer stories that are like riffing off of pop culture. For example, one of the ones that they offer right now is obviously Game of Thrones themed. It's not like called that because they can't use the name, but then it's just so similar.
Weird Al versions of things.
Yeah.
Some are a lot of fun. Like I think there's one this year that's obviously supposed to be the Curse of Oak Island, but it's called like the Curse of Skull Island or something like that. So yeah, they've got a lot of things very similar. One of the great things about them is they're really not that expensive. 40 to 50 bucks. I think the most expensive one that we've bought is $49.99. So compared to other options for Halloween parties, having to go all out for a bunch of ways to keep people entertained, really not that expensive.
Another thing that's important to understand when looking at these packages is the difference between necessary and extra characters.
Yeah, so the packages will have like a range. It'll be, say, 10 to 14. And 10 is like the absolute minimum people that you have to have show up for the story to work. And so that'll give you 4 additional characters that it's not necessarily that they don't matter. Like at the end of the night, nobody would be able to tell that, hey, I was like an additional character or my character didn't matter. It's just extra spots that, they have character lines. They have everything that everybody else has. It's just those 4 extra spots will never be the murderer, or they will never be the person who was killed, things like that.
You can also purchase expansion packs. So if you find like a storyline that you really, really like on the website, but it doesn't have enough characters for how many people are going to be at your event, a lot of them offer expansion packages that have extra characters, and you just have to pay a little bit more for those.
Yeah, they fit right into the storyline. Like we said, it'll be a kind of a flawless transition.
Inside the PDF download itself, you will get your invitations to send out to people. You will also get like a little bit more background on the story, and you'll get your story cards for each character throughout the night.
Yeah, also, there's almost like you said, like the background story really gives you, it doesn't reveal anything about the night, so you don't have an advantage by reading that. But what it does do is it sort of gives you direction for like how to decorate or whatever, and I think it gives you enough copies to send out to everybody, if I remember right, so it sort of gets everybody in the mood or the mindset.
Right.
And the packages that we have bought, instead of just having something else to send in, like with the invitation or whatever, it's actually had like a video link that sort of sets the mood. So when you send out your invitations, you just put the URL or whatever in the envelope, and they go to it, and it really gets everybody in the spirit, and it sort of sets the background for the entire night.
Right. The majority of these parties occur in 3 different sections. Yeah. So in like the first part, people just kind of introduce their character and mingle and talk and things like that. And the second part is when the murder occurs and someone dies. And then the third part is where everyone submits their guess for who they think the murderer is.
So in all 3 of these sections, the cards, you sort of just mingle around and go talk to different people. And the cards will actually give you cues. They'll tell you how to act, maybe say something coinly. They even go as far as telling you who you can talk to and who you can share certain clues with and who you can't. So it does everything for you, and those cards are actually sent in the invitation as well. Like those people, you give them so they can study up on it or whatever, so they know their part. On that note, we suggest allowing everyone to bring those cards with them, or just keeping them here and giving them to them if you want, because it could get a little confusing if you don't have them. So, in our opinion, I wouldn't send them out with the invites.
Or you could just have extra copies.
Yeah, whatever. I would just make sure that you have some copies here, because it's going to be very important.
So in round 2, when someone is murdered, one of the cue cards will direct one of the characters to go to the nearest bathroom. It'll tell them that they are the murder victim and to look underneath the bathroom sink. And so prior to the party, you hide like a little sign that comes in the package that says like, I've been murdered, and has like a little bit of detail on like how they were murdered.
Yeah, because they're not allowed to talk anymore, I think. Or in the packages that we've had, they're not allowed to really discuss much.
Right.
Like they can't give any of their old clues or anything like that. And you can have some fun with it. I think we put, I'm not sure that he used it, but I think we put... like last year or whatever, we put some blood or whatever underneath the sink, like some fake blood, and you could have, whatever you want to do.
White paint, make it look like a ghost.
Whatever, like just anything to sort of spice it up a little bit. Also, a little tip from people who've done it: make sure in the card or whatever that you tell people to wait like 15 minutes before coming out or whatever, whoever the murder victim is, because one year that we did it, they came out a little too soon, and so the mingling sort of stopped, and everybody was focused on that. When a lot of the clues and things that are very important, you needed to hear from different people. Right. So just make sure that they allot enough time for somebody, for everybody to talk to everyone else. Yeah,
because in round 2, they actually split it up into like pre-murder and post-murder clues, and so the very first one we ever did, the murder victim went into the bathroom like 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes in, and then came back out, and so nobody really got a chance to hear the pre-murder clues.
Yeah, we still had time for the post-murder stuff, but it made it very confusing. And we'll discuss this a little bit later. But when it came time to solve the murder, it was so hard because of that little mishap. So one of the questions that we've been asked quite a bit is, how do you put all this together? Put all the envelopes together, the murder, especially like the murder part, and all the clue cards, and who did the murder. How do you put that all together and still participate without, knowing or spoiling it for yourself? And so what we did is we had Anna's mother actually put everything together.
Yeah, so in the PDF download that you get, there's a part where it says, do not read past this page if you don't want to know who the murderer is. So that's really nice. So I took the information past that page to my mom's house, and I was like, hey, help me put this into envelopes so that I don't ruin the surprise for myself. You could also probably flip it over, because you have to cut some of the cards out. So you could probably do that if you don't have anyone to help you, but it does give you warnings, which is really nice.
The most awkward thing you could do is ask a friend who hasn't been invited to help you sort these things into an envelope. We suggest trying to avoid that at all costs. So one thing we sort of forgot to mention is the decorations part. We like to decorate. You don't have to. I mean, like we said, they give you a story that sort of sets the mood. But we like to, set up give a good vibe for it, and try to make people feel more in the story. And so, the one that we mentioned, this is the best example that we've got really, is the first one we did was about a possessed doll collector or whatever. And so a lot of people, I think, worry about how expensive it is to just go out and buy decorations for a singular party. All we did for that one was we went to thrift stores like Goodwill or whatever, and we bought a bunch of 50-cent, 25-cent, maybe $1 dolls. We even went and found the broke porcelain dolls. And then we spent $5 or $6 on paint, and they are terrifying. They really creep people out, because we still put them out every Halloween now. They're part of our normal decor, because they turned out so well.
Yeah.
And every time people are like, "Oh, that's cute, that's cute." What the hell is that? Like people are terrified of them. I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan of dolls either. So, but it doesn't have to be expensive. Like, you don't have to go crazy and try to set the entire, atmosphere. But just little details like that, I think it makes it a lot of fun. And it's fun to take something and refurbish it for Halloween anyways.
In the third part of the party, everybody gets another round of clue cards, and you kind of walk around and mingle and try to get, the last bit of information in before you submit your
So
guess.
hard. So hard.
They do make them pretty hard. But then you hand out guess cards to everybody, and they get to write down who they think did it and why they did
Your
it.
typical murder mystery stuff.
Exactly. And so then you can take those back up so nobody can change their answer.
Yeah.
And the packet
Cheaters.
and the packet that you get comes with a full explanation of the murder and all of that. So then
The clues and everything, it's sort of, if you don't understand, because there's been times where we haven't understood why it was that person.
Yeah.
And then they'll bring up clues that were relative to everything, and it puts the story together for you.
Right. So then you can read that out loud to all of your guests, so everybody kind of understands. Oh,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew that was creepy when he said that.
Exactly. And so it totally explains the storyline, and a lot of them there'll be one murder, but then there'll be side twists where it's well, that guy's creepy too.
Yeah.
So it kind of explains all the characters and wraps up the story.
Yeah, it's funny. They'll give backstories to why the person acts like that, and it sort of explains relationships between different people within. It's very detailed. I could never imagine trying to do this without one of these packages. Because it would just take so much writing and
Effort.
It seems impossible for somebody like me, at least.
Yeah, the story writers do an amazing job.
Yeah.
One last little tip we have, the website talks about how you can host these parties either as a sit-down party or as just kind of a mix and mingle. We really suggest to just let everybody walk around and mingle and talk to each other, because it just makes the party go better.
Yeah, and there's parts, like we talked about, where you have to discuss something. There'll be parts where it tells you to only tell X character this certain thing.
Right.
And that's going to be really difficult, sitting down at a dinner. It's just going to make it hard. Right. So we just did finger foods and just let everybody do, make their rounds, go talk to whoever. If you want to serve drinks or whatever, just put up a cooler. For us, it just went so much better just having it as a, here are some appetizers, or, just here's some plates. Everybody grab you a plate whenever you want.
Yeah, just eat all night if you want.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be these stringent rules. Just sort of have fun with it. So I guess that wraps it up for today. Let us know in the comment section if you have any more questions on the murder mystery parties. Like we've said before, we highly suggest them. We think they are one of the most fun ways to host a Halloween party. It gives you something to do for a little while, and then afterwards you can just hang out for a few hours. That's something else. These generally only take, a couple hours. So
if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up.
The thumb did it.
You can hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification so you get an alert every time we post a new video.
Thanks for watching. It was the janitor in the closet with a wrench.